So you've been deferred, and we've already discussed what that means and how that's different from, say, getting waitlisted. But what are the steps you need to take now in order to make sure that you have a good chance of being admitted in the regular application round? What should you do? What should you not do? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Nick Dawes, and I'm an independent educational consultant for Dawes Academic Consulting, and I help students navigate the college application process. So, deferrals can be really disappointing. I believe I talked a little bit about that before. But again, if your college list was built correctly, deferrals and denials are going to be part of this process just as they're part of life. And while it's never fun to experience a deferral or denial, it's a really, really important experience that we should have. We're not going to get every job that we apply for. We're not going to crush every interview we go into in life. And so this is just part of growing up, unfortunately. Believe me, it's not the most fun part of it. So, what do you do now? Do you want to email your school counselor? Do you want to email the admissions office? What do you do? What do you say? How do you go about it? Let's go over it. So, step one, first and foremost, follow directions. This might seem like a no-brainer, but read the directions. Duh. All right. It's easy to forget that though when you've gotten this deferral. Maybe you were really confident you were going to get into the school, and this is like kind of throwing you for a loop. Maybe you're a little bit stressed out or a little worried. So it can be easy to forget these really basic things, but read the directions and follow them. That's going to be the overriding principle. Everything else that I say after this assumes you read and followed the directions first. Okay. Some colleges aren't going to ask you for any information at all. They're just going to say, you were deferred. We're moving your application to the regular round. Thank you for being interested in our university. In which case, you don't really have to do much of anything. You will probably still need to have your counselor submit a mid-year report, but that's probably going to be all that happens. Other colleges might say, if you want to be deferred and considered in the regular round, check this box or click OK or whatever, just like a little simple check to make sure that you're still interested. But if you didn't get in early, maybe you might say, forget it. I'm gonna look at other schools, which is absolutely your right. Other schools might give you a form to fill out on their website uh, or in their portal. Michigan is doing that where they give you a text box for you to fill in your ECI, expression of continued interest, which is just a letter of continued interest by another name. Other schools might say, we welcome letters of continued interest, but not really give you a place to send them. And we'll talk about what to do then. Others might give you a spot to upload your letter of continued interest and upload a resume or a way for you to give additional letters of rec. It's really going to vary by the institution. So it's important that you follow their directions. Don't give them things they don't ask for. They won't thank you for the extra homework. All right. They have enough applications to read as it is. Step two, mid-year reports. All right. Odds are every school that you are deferred to is going to want a mid-year report. And the purpose of this is to bring your application up to par information-wise with all the other applicants from the regular decision round. Regular decision happens anywhere from January 3rd to February, sometimes even March or April if we're talking about rolling admission schools, right? So those students are going to have their first semester grades as part of their application. Your early application from October does not. So sending in the mid-year report is usually a pretty standard piece of the process to bring your grades up to date with all the other regular decision applicants. So then the colleges can see how are you doing in those classes that you're taking senior year. In some cases, allegedly the hardest classes you'll take, especially for tracked subjects like English or like math. Right? They want to see how you're doing. That's going to give them an idea of your ability to succeed when you arrive at their college. Most school counselors send these out automatically, and you don't have to do anything. So in those cases, I would say like don't bother your school counselor. If they send out a mass email saying, we got it, we're going to send them out, don't worry about it. then don't worry about it. Your school counselor could have hundreds of students to worry about, and if they all went and asked, your counselor would never get those mid-year reports submitted. And it's important that they get submitted and on time. So if your school counselor says, "Hey, I got it, you're okay," I would trust your school counselor. If they don't send out that kind of email, or you're at a school that has a lot of school counselors and they have fewer students, it might be worth checking in with them, partly to just update them on where you're at, where you've been deferred, where you've been accepted, if you've gotten any denials, and then to also ask, not, "Hey, have you sent my mid-year report?" or "Can you send my mid-year report?" But "Do you need anything from me in order to submit my mid-year report?" That's how we should ask that question. What do I need to do to make sure that it gets done? And the answer will likely be nothing. But sometimes, especially if you had to go to Parchment to request the transcript, you might have to go do that again. And then any other schools that you've attended, if you've gone to your local community college, or if you took courses on UC Scout in the fall semester, or from some other online provider in the fall semester, if you requested those transcripts in October, you might need to go and get new ones with your updated grades for any courses that you took fall semester. So don't forget about those. It's not just your high school transcript, it's the transcripts for every program that you were enrolled in fall semester where you're going to get a grade. The colleges will want to see that grade. All right. Step three, update any test scores. Maybe you took a November SAT and that was too late for your early applications, but you sent it to some of your regular decision schools. If you're able to send in updated test scores, send in updated test scores. The college might want just a PDF of your score report, an unofficial score, or they might want the official score to be sent to them, in which case you have to go to College Board and order your official score. If it's not clear whether you can send updated test scores, just ask. Just ask. You can email your regional rep. If you don't have a regional rep or you don't know who that is, you can email the general admissions department for the college that you want to send the scores to, or you can just call them. I think calling them would be quickest and easiest. Yeah, you'll sit on hold until they get to you, but you'll get your answer really quickly. And mom and dad, let your student call. Let your student send the email. It's really important that they take over at this stage in the process if they haven't taken over already. So call and find out if and how you can send in updated test scores if you have them. If you don't have them, totally fine. And then lastly, there's that LOCI, the letter of continued interest. If a school accepts an LOCI at all, what is an LOCI though? What is this? So this is a short 1/2 page to 1 page letter that you send to the admissions office, updating them on anything that's happened in that first semester since you applied. Right? Again, this is about bringing your application up to par with the regular decision applicants. They've had an extra 3 months, November, December, January, to do activities, to win awards, to get new responsibilities, to do cool stuff. And you applied back in October, hopefully by Halloween. And so it's a chance for you to tell them what you've been up to, what you've been getting test score wise, what you've been getting grade wise, what you've been doing with your free time, so that they can hold on. Nami was distracting me. Where was I? Right. This is where you're telling them about your new accolades, your new test scores, anything that you've been up to in the last 3 months, so that they have a more complete picture of your extracurricular achievements. All right. This is also a chance for you to reaffirm your fit with the college, to talk about the ways in which your activities and your performance matches the values and culture at the university, and to reaffirm your interest in being at their school, right? So if you're allowed to submit one of these things, and you're not able to upload it as a document or fill out a little box like at Michigan or like at some of the UCs, who do you send it to? The first place I would look is at your deferral letter. Your deferral letter might be a generic form letter, or it might be signed by someone. And it's going to be signed by a couple, it's most likely to be signed by a couple of people. One, it could be signed by your regional representative, the person who read your application. Or it could be signed by some administrator, the dean of admissions or vice dean of admissions, someone, higher up who doesn't make the day-to-day decisions on who gets admitted and who does not. If it's signed by some administrator, we're going to ignore them and we're not going to send it directly to them. That would be weird. But if your letter was signed by a representative, like an admissions officer, it's likely that that's the person, excuse me, it's likely that that's the person who read your application, in which case you can address the letter to them and email it to them directly. The other thing you can do, if you don't know who your regional rep is, if you can't find it on the admissions page on the school's website, or they don't have kind of the regional rep system built into their admissions office, I would just address it to like university admissions, dear whatever college admissions office, and then just keep going. That's how I would handle the letter of continued interest and who you send it to. If you're not able to just upload it directly to the university portal, which is what a lot of colleges do these days. So you don't have to worry about who you email it to. But again, I cannot stress step one enough. Follow directions. Okay. You're going to hear that a lot if you follow these blogs or follow these videos. Follow the directions. Do not give them things that they do not ask for. Do not give them things that they expressly say they do not want. If the college does not prohibit letters of continued interest, then it's possible that you could email one to an admissions rep or upload one. They will either invite you to send it or they will say, we absolutely don't want these. It's the ones that say neither where it's a little bit more questionable, in which case I would email it to the person who read your application or your admissions rep or whomever. That's that murky gray area. But if they expressly say that we don't want these, do not send one. If they give you a space to upload it, you should absolutely upload it, and that would be great. Next time, we'll talk about how to write a letter of continued interest, what it should look like, what are some of the things you should include, what kind of tone should you be striking, all that good stuff. And until then, you got this. It's going to be okay.
So, if that video helped you, then please help me by liking, sharing, and subscribing or following on whatever social media platform you prefer. Doing so really helps allow me to do what I like to do, which is help students and families manage the college application process. And if you're looking for more targeted support yourself, there's a link in the description that'll allow you to book a consultation with me, and we'll see how I can help. It's free. Anyway, thanks again for watching.